Good evening. Welcome to the 12 Man Podcast live on Facebook, on the Red at some point during the week. Spotify, Amazon, Deezer, Apple, Google, all your good places to listen to us talk absolute rubbish for 60 minutes. Got me, Steve Jackson. I'm your host for the evening. Got a bit of a full house, but I'll talk you through who we've got. Mr. John Donovan, still resting up. Evening, John.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, still resting. I'll go back to the hospital tomorrow, so hopefully I'll get a bit of better news. But if not, well, just have to watch it on the telly instead of being at the top of the North Stand enjoying myself.
Yes, definitely. Well, I've had a question come in, and he's told me he'll kick off if I don't ask it, so I'm going to ask it now. Are you going to be fit for the playoff weekender?
I don't know. I'll follow doctor's advice, and if I am, brilliant. If not, I'll certainly make sure that I've got transport, and if accommodation's needed, accommodation for everyone. Don't you worry.
Are you going to play centre half, like?
We might need.
I'll be back soon. I'll be back sooner than Lenihan by the looks of things.
Well, he was there on Saturday. He was pitch side, and he didn't look too bad. So I'm not saying that he's fit or anything. I'll move on. I've got Jacob Jervis with us on the back of a bad week from last week. Evening, Jacob.
Evening, you okay?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you.
Good. Have you rebooked your driving theory yet?
Not yet.
Oh dear. Well, anyway, you got any driving tips? Give him some pointers. Mr. James Dalgarno's with us. Evening, Dally.
Are we doing all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
Aye, sound. Thought I'd come on now. We're winning games again.
Second injury report coming. How's the ankle?
Yeah, broken foot's coming all right. Suffered at Sheffield United. I've got my hospital appointment next week. Still walking around in a moon boot, so we are going to start a GoFundMe for the stairlift to the top of the North Stand. All proceeds will be greatly appreciated.
Funny thing is, there's people that'll be watching this and listening to this going, I'm pretty sure I looked at the back of the North Stand on Saturday and I saw a moon boot in the air at least twice. I can confirm.
Did you take it off?
Yeah, was it? Yeah.
It was proper flying about. It was class. I did say we were busy. So, fifth member, she won our contest on X. I think Elon Musk is still calling it. She does listen to us, so she's not a newcomer. She knows who we are, and she's an avid follower like we are. Sarah Holloway is with us. Evening, Sarah.
Hi, evening. You okay?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Good. We'll come back to your Friday night. You gave us a bit of a preview before, and it was sounding hilarious. So I'm already looking forward to that. But yes, get all your thoughts in. Get your thoughts in on the two wins. You know, spoiler alert: we won 2 games in a row. So we're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about Sarah's evening on Friday night with Steve McClaren, Craig Nignett, and John Hendrie. See what McClaren said about coming back. And we'll talk about the upcoming trip to Swansea. A long, long trip ahead, but we're still going to do it. So I'm still looking forward to it, so it should be good. But before we start, are we all right? Are we all good?
Super.
Yeah.
Especially now, 2 wins. 2 wins happen.
Exactly. 2, exactly. And that's where we start. John, I'll start with you, because you watched it as we all did. We start with Stoke. We said it'd be a tricky place to go. It was, in the sense of, they stuck at it, but we got a massive win. It was a massive breath of fresh air to see us actually turn on the good football again.
Yeah. We had to get something from the game. Both teams were low on confidence. Had terrible runs up to the game. So really, it was touch and go as to which way the game could have went. But I was fairly pleased with the team that was announced. I was quite hopeful. And then, sitting down to watch it on TV instead of being at the stadium, I saw Middlesbrough play with slightly more confidence than they've shown lately, and we were knocking the ball around well. still looked a little bit sloppy and a little bit nervous at times. But after such a lengthy run of bad results, it's only to be expected. So yeah, I thought we started the game brightly and especially the first 45 minutes, we dominated it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was a massive win. Jacob, you were there, weren't you, on Tuesday?
No, I wasn't. I was at
No. Great.
Sorry.
Move on from that. Sarah, did you at least go?
I was there. Yeah.
There you go. There we go.
That's why you brought me on, wasn't it? Because I went.
Exactly. I mean, you did predict 3-1, so I'll come to you. I mean,
Yeah.
what was the away end like? Obviously,
do you know what? It's one of those away days that you're just happy to have been there because, it's been a bit tricky, hasn't it? I was at Bristol on the Friday night as well, and that was pretty rough. So going down there, and I obviously was confident because I predicted the score, and that's why I'm here tonight. So I was obviously confident. I don't know where that confidence came from, but I even when Stoke equalised, I still was very confident we were going to go on to win that game. I just didn't feel like, and I know it's typical Borough or at least typical Borough of this season to have a clawed back and then the opposition goes on to win the game, but I just never felt Stoke were going to do that. It was 10 minutes of we just let our guard down before half time, and I could see that. I mean, what was interesting was after half time they were out really quickly. The team out really quickly. It was like Carrick's gone in there, and I think he roasted them. To be honest, I think he was pretty furious. He looked it as he went down the touchline. So, yeah, it was, and the away end was phenomenal. I mean, we had such a good time, as you can imagine.
Yeah, it's always a good away end, isn't it, Stoke? It's a bit weird now it's in the corner, but I actually always love it behind the goal. I was gutted I missed on
View's a bit crap, like. The view's not great.
Yeah, no, it's a quality day out, Stoke. I probably enjoy it. But Dally, obviously, we got into the second half. We've got them 2 goals. Did it make a difference that Finn Azaz was in the squad? Was it a coincidence that all of a sudden the link up between the front, I suppose 3, and then the 2 behind was actually starting to happen because he was there to, I suppose, dictate play a little bit more?
I think Force coming into it as well about the sounds and the looks of, even on Saturday. I think, he's gone with Iheanacho over the last few weeks, with him coming in. Azaz, had an unbelievable November, half decent December, and then, like everything else after half time on Boxing Day, just completely fell away. And you can say, yes, we've let Elath go in, or rumoured to have been going at the point, because obviously he didn't go till mid-January. Was that affecting him? Because the link-up play there was really good. And it was nice that they found a formula that worked. We were putting 3s and 4s past team in November. We were having 30 attempts in games in the earlier part of the season, and then for whatever reason it's just gone belly up. So it was nice for Finn as to obviously get on the score sheet, get an assist. Brilliant for his confidence.
Completely agree. It was just refreshing to be sat there and thinking, thank God that runs over, because it was horrible to watch. It was horrible to go to games and see it, and yeah, you do feel helpless as a fan, don't you? And you just want it to get even better. But thank God we got 3 points over the line. I mean, it did influence my decision to go to Swansea. I was sat there going, if we win, I'll go to Swansea. I will go. And then, obviously we won. I was straight on the website buying tickets. So yeah, I'll be there on Saturday because of that. But Jacob, it didn't come without its mistakes at the back, obviously. But go to the positive side. Is it a coincidence that we're a bit more solid at the back now? Dale Fry's back.
No, I don't think it's a coincidence at all. I think Fry is definitely the best defender at the club. I think he's the one who just thrives off just defending. I certainly like defenders to, like I said, just enjoy defending, not always worry about playing the pretty ball. But no, I think Fry's been really impressive, and he's just happy to clear his lines where at times where others might seek to play in more dangerous positions. So yeah, I think Fry's been really good.
Yeah, he has been. I think we were all delighted when his name started popping up on the team sheet again. He's become more solid. Obviously, the one drawback from the game was losing George Edmondson. Obviously, Luke Ayling's filled in at centre half now, so we're down to 1/5 centre half all of a sudden. There's talks of trying to look at the free market, which I really hope we don't. I don't fancy seeing Daniel Ayala in a Borough shirt ever again. But no, keep the negatives away. 3 points was needed, no matter how it came, but we played some brilliant football on Tuesday night. I thought we were really good and well deserving of our 3 points. I usually go around and ask you all for your man of the match, but I'm going to ask the one lady that was there and predicted the score. Who was your man of the match on Tuesday night, Sarah?
I think I came away and said I gave it to Finn Azaz. I think just the influence he has in the game. I also thought Dale Fry was excellent, I've got to say. But I just went for, I think I might have said Dale Fry and then changed my mind to Finn Azaz just because he had such an influence. But just on that topic of what Jamie just said there, the front four was really great. And I know we talk about defending and defenders and all the rest of it, but I think they as a four also did a good job of actually defending as well and making sure that we actually kept our shape quite a bit. And the way they interchanged as well was really impressive. I like that those four can move right across. They can all play in each other's positions, which is maybe not Conway's position so much, but ultimately they're all moving across the pitch. Stoke didn't have to handle it. I thought that was pretty, and we can probably come on to Bergzorg at some point later, but it's an interesting discussion to have, isn't it?
It is, because obviously Bergzorg was the one that ultimately had to drop out for Force coming in. And I thought that was when I saw it today, I thought it was quite unlucky because I thought Bergzorg was probably one of our better players over the last few games.
100%.
But like you said, the four were they were interchangeable. They were really good. Even Conway in the left wing was. I know all of us were obviously screaming, "Please get up front." That's your position. Please go up front. But it worked. It worked, and you see, it helped them all interchange really well. Pass the ball between themselves, and the shape was really good. But it was a really good win. Really good start to the week.
I mean, just to say, I think all 3 goals are well executed and well worked, well crafted. And yes, I know Stoke were awful on the night, but you've got to look at Middlesbrough. We've been awful, like Dally says, most of January, and to the best parts, most of February as well. So it was really a massive result. It got us sort of like back amongst those that are scrambling for 5th and 6th spots in the league. It was a confidence boost that we needed. So it was great, great result, great performance. And Sarah and the rest of the crowd were absolutely fantastic. You could hear them most of the game, especially all second half. It was fantastic. Well done to you all.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was, no Borough end is ever quiet, to be quite honest. It's very rare you get a Borough end that's quiet, but Stoke was noisy as always. And
just an interesting point on that, even though we went 1-1 and at half time, the fans did not turn at any point.
Oh, good.
They were impressed with what they'd seen first half, and it would have been easy for us to have lost that goal before half time and booed them off and all that. None of that happened. So I thought that was really good. The fans stayed with the team the whole way through.
Oh, perfect. So that's exactly what you need.
You're right. It would have been easy to do that, and normally when we take massive supports away from home, massive numbers, it sometimes does happen that shall we say the non-regular away attendees tend to be the ones who lose their patience more quickly.
Preston.
Blackburn in a few weeks. But no, you're absolutely right. And I just want to put it out there. I've said for ages, Marcus Forss is the best finisher at the club, and I still fully back it. Absolutely unbelievable strike, unbelievable finish. And he needed a year since he scored his last goal. I think his last goal against Sunderland, if I'm not wrong.
Wow, that was some goal.
There you go. There's a stat for you. It's not my only stat for the evening. I've got another one up my sleeve. So exactly, John. Big smiles, big happy faces. Brilliant, nice. Then we come to Saturday. Obviously, Saturday, Derby at home. one thing very rare, John, that we have at Borough, because like I said, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, it was his back line. He's kept the same back line, is it twice? Because of injuries. Obviously, he had to change it again Saturday. But apart from Ailing coming in, we were unchanged. What did you think?
Yeah. Obviously, it was an enforced change, but
Yeah.
fair play. I mean, the lad's done well at Stoke. Obviously, he had to make a change for Edmondson, but they deserve to have another crack at first team football, and I was pleased that he gave them the confidence, to go on to back-to-back wins, because the players, they need it. They need a little bit of luck. They need to get used to winning games again. So to start with just the one change was a big boost for everybody who earned the 3 points at Stoke.
Yeah, definitely. It was needed, and I think a bit of continuity in the team as well to give the front four a bit of confidence. To say you did the job at Stoke, I'm giving you another shot again. Even though we had the likes of Bergzal on the bench, I thought it was brilliant from Carey.
Yeah, I mean it's tough on him because he's done well recently. Yeah. But you know what? It's a manager's decision, and it's paid off.
Exactly, and it did pay off because they say he stuck with his guns. You can imagine Bergzal's frustration, but at the end of the day, it paid off. As like you said, I come to you, Jacob. One thing I thought about Saturday. Yes, Derby are in the bottom three. Yes, it's Derby County. I always thought it was going to be a bit tricky. I didn't think it was going to be easy. It's exactly why I predicted 1-0 when I spoke last Monday. What did you think of Derby?
I thought it was a team that you could tell the lack quality, but a really good manager in Eustace. I think he's a great manager. I think any team would be lucky to have him, and I think he set them up as best as he could. They had a goal. They relied on a little bit of luck, as hitting the post. Force being a little bit wasteful. But what I would say is I think towards the middle to the end of the second half is that they grew in the game a little bit, and they just, they lack that final ball. And, I think on another day, maybe they could have snatched a goal. But no, we probably I think we deserved the win on the reflection of the game. But I think Derby made it difficult, and as a team that's fighting down the bottom, you would be, pretty satisfied with their efforts, I think.
Yeah, I think a few of their fans walked away a bit disappointed they couldn't keep hold of the 0-0. I imagine they probably came in and said, if we can get a point out of these, I think we've done all right. But Sarah, I'll come to you. What did you make of the performance on Saturday? I thought at times we were good. At times it was really ugly and difficult to watch.
Yeah. That was my overriding feeling. It was difficult.
It's not getting the points, isn't it, at the end of the day, this point of the season?
But honestly, that is a game that we would have possibly drawn or lost not long ago, and especially in the first half of the season, especially at home, because at home we've really struggled, haven't we, at times? And I don't know, I was just delighted that we stayed patient and kept going. I thought I know people will say I should put Della on and all the rest of them. Again, we can talk about that. But I actually thought he made a good substitution, and I think that caused a lot of confusion with Derby. And I thought, despite everybody saying how bad they were, and they were, I mean, some of their passing was woeful. I actually thought they were quite well organised at times, and they were difficult to break down. But yeah, I think the patience that we showed, not just on the pitch but off the pitch as well. Again, the patience was quite important because it was 80th minute. It could have turned a bit naughty, so I think all in all, we've got to be satisfied with that.
No, absolutely. You're right as well. As you said, the substitutions were, I think they were timed really well. I thought bringing obviously Giles was forced with Ailing being injured. I fully got that one. And when I saw Borges move across, I thought he looks the most uncomfortable player I've ever seen in my life, because he just didn't look like he was ready for it. But he was, because he wasn't massively tested. But Dally, come to you. We were stood in that north stand. Ball drops to Finazaz, takes a touch, bang. Goal finally came. Oh,
Broke me limb. Yeah, it was a good goal, wasn't it? Listening to what you're saying there, I didn't think much of Derby at all. I think you could see obviously why they were bottom of the league.
Yeah.
You look at, I know they've had their injury problems. Like Matt Clark was out, who I was looking forward to not coming up against, but I always like watching Matt Clark play. But you look at who he's going to be playing with. Jesus Christ! I thought at times, some of our passing's been sloppy this season, but Jesus Christ! I think one of their centre halves got the ball on the edge of the box, turned round and put it out for a throw.
Yeah, for corner.
No one around him.
Yeah.
I thought they were absolutely. I didn't think they were great at all.
No.
But I think if they had something up front, I think that would have given us a bit more of a threat. And you're right in what you say, Sarah. I think we'd have lost that 4 or 5 weeks ago, especially with the coming in later in the game. It was as we hadn't scored, and the atmosphere it kind of turned everything back to Watford. But big win, big goal, big win, and you look at them 2 results. If we hadn't have got those 2 results that we've got, we're coming up against QPR and Swansea, who would have been right around us. And wins for them take them above us. So I thought it was a huge win.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Derby were awful. There's no 2 ways about it, apart from the first couple of minutes when they tested Travers. I think that was virtually it. And they just decided to put 10 men behind the ball whenever we had it. And normally we struggle to break teams down.
Exactly.
But we managed it late on. It doesn't matter what time the goal comes. It led to another 3 points. A good goal, well picked up by Morris. Found Conway. Conway's blocked. Felt away here. Nacho. His shot was blocked. And then Finn Azaz finished superb. And I must admit, the telly. I watched on the telly and I watched the highlights again. And the roar of relief and joy was absolutely fantastic. A decent crowd, 25 and a half, above 25 and a half. Decent crowd. And the roar when we scored was fantastic. It'll do a lot for the players, hopefully. Now, don't get me wrong. We weren't outstanding at all in the game. We've done enough all the way through. We've done enough. But at the moment, that's all that matters. We've got to stay in touch with the playoff places, and getting results ugly, dirty, like that. They mean as much to me as a commanding performance and a win, because at the end of the day, it's the same outcome. And if we can win ugly and get 3 points, brilliant. So we go into the Swansea game on Saturday now with a touch more confidence, and hopefully we can bring something back from there.
Yeah, I mean that's it. It's all about just building that confidence. I said a couple of weeks ago, it's just about taking one game at a time. Now there's no point trying to rush ourselves and rush ahead. And I mean, people are saying, our run of games coming up are quite, favourable on paper, but it doesn't really matter to me. It's all about one game at a time. Now let's see, what the next one brings. There's no point trying to predict it because we didn't predict 6 defeats in a row. So don't even try it. I was quite surprised about Derby because they've got a bit of quality. I mean, they've got Kemar Roof for a start, and I thought, well, where was he?
Where's the quality? They were absolutely awful. They haven't got any quality, them, Steve. They beat us this season. They beat us up there because we shot ourselves in the foot again. I haven't seen, no offence, mate, I've seen nothing from Derby in the first game or that game to even convince me that they've got a chance of staying up.
Oh, no. I meant it was more in the case of they're organised, but they've got a couple of players that could cause you problems. I mean, I remember watching Marcus Harness at Portsmouth, and he was an absolute.
Oh, you're just making names up now. Like the time you told us you watch football.
He was the one with the big fuzzy hair on the pitch. But yeah, they had Kemar Roof on the bench, and I thought, why is he not playing? I thought that was a bit of a weird selection because he's a goal scorer in the Championship, a bit like what Naki Wells is.
Haven't they just picked him up though? Haven't they literally just picked him up?
Yeah, I thought.
Was there a bus stop somewhere?
Yeah, it's probably the reason why.
Yeah, you're doing my Ridge Tales.
Yeah, I just thought, they might have caused a little bit more problem. You know, a team that's desperate to get a result, but they just didn't. They weren't. I'm not going to say they weren't bothered because they were, but I can't remember a point where Mark Travers had to really stretch himself. And I thought that's a really good save. Apart from maybe the 3rd minute where the ball was going top corner. Apart from that, I think Travers had a really good.
And that was down to us, wasn't it? I mean, we started with all our old habits. We just couldn't get rid of the ball. It was a comedy of errors again for the ball bouncing about in the box. Not one player in the red shirt could get it under control and clear his lines. And it fell to player on the edge of the box. Travis made a great stop. You know, you have to think how the game might have been if Travis hadn't got to it. But you know, it's all hypothetical. But after that, he wasn't troubled.
It shows how bad this league is, though, because we've been on the run that we've been on.
Yeah.
And you're 2 points away from it. You've picked up a couple of wins and you're 2 points away from it. And, you know, results go our way. In a fortnight's time, you could be right back in the playoffs. And realistically, really, the run that we've been on, we should be nowhere near it.
I think there's like 4 teams at the top that are exceptional, 4 teams at the bottom that are really terrible, and the rest are just much of a muchness.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. It shows the quality of this league. I sent you boys a stat earlier. I couldn't believe when I saw it. Borja Sainz is top scorer in the league. Hasn't scored since November.
Yeah.
No,
what's happened to him? Yeah, bloody hell.
He's got 2 screams against us.
Let's be honest. Our last two performances, they haven't been in any way commanding. And if we play like that for the rest of the season, we won't make the playoffs. We'll pick up results, but we need to sort of kick on and improve because we're going to meet better teams. But those 2 wins, hopefully, will have given the players more confidence to express themselves a bit more and be less fearful and sort of inward looking when it comes to and afraid of making mistakes when it comes to being on the pitch. So I'm hoping that with that extra confidence that 2 wins have given us, we can start to play a bit more freely, a bit more openly. And we all know we've got the quality there. It's just our mistakes that have held us back. And you know, if we can sort of cut them out, if we can lessen the number of mistakes that we are making during the game, then we've still got a chance at the playoffs. But we have to improve from our last 2 performances.
No, you're absolutely right. It's we've got to say we really do have to pick up the performances because you know our end of the season's not easy. It's not. But I say game at a time. Let's keep just building the confidence little bit by little bit, and then we'll just keep going from there. Sarah, I know you wanted to talk about Bergsorg. Obviously, you got was it 8 minutes?
Yeah.
Plus stoppage time. What have you made of his impact off the bench? I think he's a good sub to bring on because he brings something a bit different. He's direct, and they didn't know what to do with him.
I do, and I think like the reason why I mentioned it was more so because I think for a lot of fans, they would have said at least, you know, he was one of players that was actually oppressing in that negative period. I just think that the fans would say he should be first on the team sheet, and he does give us a bit more in terms of, I guess, intensity, a bit more energy sometimes. But I actually think he makes us slightly worse when he plays, which as a team, not him specifically of his own performance, but I think in terms of our shape and our structure, we are better with the other 4 starting, and I think that's unfair on him in one respect because he's played so well. But I prefer him starting from the bench.
He's more direct, isn't he? I think the feeling for me was you look at the Sunderland game and he's been the one player I think who kind of gets it and who's put it in him and Tommy Conway. And
agree.
I think he's really unfortunate because Carrick's gone with a formation at Stoke. He's liked what he's seen, it's worked.
Yeah.
And then the next game, he's which has been quite rare for Carrick, obviously we touched on it, he's kind of kept the team pretty... he's kept the same team pretty much. And Bergsorg then finds himself down the pecking order a little bit because of Azaz Whitaker, Force, the way that they're all linking up.
But at Bristol, I thought Bergzorg was one of his worst performances.
Yeah.
And I think defensively he was really poor that night. He did not support his left back very well. And I think that was obviously why Carrick looked at that. And I think he's looked at it before because he dropped him. What was the game? Was it Watford? Anyway, and that was a bit of a shocker, wasn't it? We were all a bit stunned by that. What's he done to deserve that? But I think there's something in there's something in that defensive side of Bergzorg that I think maybe is more concerning. Because we do have a lot of attack-minded players, and that's why we sometimes get caught out. I just think I love him. I love his attitude. I love the way he's brought the club together. I love the way he's trying to bridge that gap that's been there between the fans and the team. Everything about that I love. But honestly, having watched those 2 games back to back, I just thought we looked better, looked more fluid with the other 4.
Yeah,
he puts a hell of a lot into games when he starts, and I've noticed that come 70 minutes and beyond that, he's struggling. He's struggling because his type of play it's quite dynamic. He plays in bursts, and it must take a hell of a lot out of him physically, because when it comes to, like, if he starts again, when it comes to 70 minutes, that's it. He's flagging. So yeah, putting him on as a substitute for the last half an hour or less, depending on how Carrick feels, then we've got a player who can really trouble the opposition because of his energy. So you're probably right in that, Sarah.
No, completely agree. It causes a problem off the bench because you're not quite sure which side of the pitch he's going to be on, and I think that's because it's detriment to his work ethic, because he wants to be in every part of the pitch.
Yes.
Where he just runs everywhere. Where sometimes you just need a bit of structure. You need someone to just stay where they're told, stay in your position, stay in your area. That's where you put on the pitch to do.
And you saw Whitaker do that quite a bit at the weekend, I thought. He really did keep his position quite well.
Yeah, I thought he supported Dijksteel quite well when he was on that side of the pitch.
Yeah.
And he did the same on the other side as well. I thought Whitaker at times, he's still a bit soft for me. I still think he needs to toughen up a little bit. But apart from that, I thought it was probably his best game in the Borussia.
Yes.
I thought he linked up really
well.
He is.
He's improving game, but he's improving game by game.
And he's actually a very, very technically good footballer. I've been quite surprised, to be honest. I really like him.
Obviously I do. I scream for him to sign him, so I've definitely got to back him now, haven't I? So, but no, I completely agree. He's got something about him. His range of passing was really good on Saturday as well. He wasn't afraid just to stop the ball and pick the pass that he wants, and it did help us get up the pitch and spread the play out wide. So I thought he had a really good game. But before I ask the man of the matches, John, we had a charity bet up on Saturday, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we got one right.
Thank God.
Yippee. So Sarah, I don't know whether you're aware. We choose. We forecast the scoreline and an anytime goal scorer for the next game after the podcast. So on this occasion, it'll be the Swansea game, and many times this season we've had the scoreline correct, but not the right goal scorer. Anyway, on Saturday, we got it up. So so that's some money into the kitty, and at the end of it, it goes to chosen charities. So
excellent.
So think about it, because we're going to ask you towards the end of this podcast of your Swansea score and an anytime goal scorer.
Okay.
Yes. Definitely have a good think about it. I mean, you've got something else to talk about before that, but yeah, I've have a good think about it. But before we talk about Sarah's Friday night,
text notes, hang on.
Before we talk about Sarah's Friday night, or what you can remember about her Friday night, we'll start with man of the match. I'll start with you, Sarah. Your man of the match from Saturday.
Oh, easy for me, Dale Fry. Although I have to say, Ayling pushed him, and I think if Ayling hadn't gone off, I liked him at centre half, got to be honest, but Dale Fry for me all day.
Yeah, he didn't have to use his pace as much, which I thought was beneficial to Ealing.
But he was a better captain as well.
He was, to be fair. Yeah, we were more organised on Saturday, which I really enjoyed, so that helped. Dally, I'll come to you.
Yeah, I'd have to go Fry.
Yeah.
I am in love.
John Don, come to you.
Can't deny. Dale Fry. Head and shoulders above everybody, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's really easy, this one. Jacob, come to you.
Yeah, full house, Dale Fry.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dale Fry, but I will give a mention to Neto Borges. I think the last 2 games, I think he's been brilliant. I think he's been absolutely brilliant.
I've been singing that song all season. No one's joined in.
Really?
One tweet goes out, and everyone wants to sing because you're Borges.
I saw that tweet Saturday. I went, I've heard it for weeks.
Honestly, he saved the Bristol game for me. Like literally, that his actions at the end of that game have just I think they've changed our season. Honestly, I really do. And I think, I love him. I always did, but obviously his performances weren't particularly good. But he's always had a lot of heart. He's always cared a lot. He's always been the one trying to dupe the fans. I remember being at Norwich and he was like completely crazy, and I could see he had that about him.
I remember that. Yeah.
But yeah, he really good. Yeah, really excited for Borges to be playing so well at the minute.
Dally, persistence pays off. You get that song going.
Oh.
I know, as soon as I saw the tweet, I was like, I've heard that song for weeks. Like, no one else caught on to this.
I've never heard it once. Have they been singing it at away games? Because I've literally never heard that song.
Honestly. I just sing it all the way home on the buses on the way home. I'm the only one in the only one in the North Stand who sings it, and then from Norwich all the way home because you're Borges.
Okay.
In between fitting George Edmondson in,
everybody on the 63 bus knows it. Sick of it, in fact.
Used to get the 63 bus.
This thing. As soon as I saw it, I thought I've got to send him because I've heard this song and I know all the words all straight away. So no, it was we'll have a good sing. We'll sing on Saturday for you, Dally, I promise. We definitely will. But right, before we preview Saturday, obviously Sarah got a night out on Friday night, courtesy of correct score on last Tuesday, 3-1 win against Stoke. She did say she didn't quite remember most of it because of certain drinks that she was having, but she'll give this a go.
Can I just point out, nobody asked me to come on this pod till after the evening. If I'd known I had to make a note, then I took a notepad and took notes and not drank so many glasses of wine. But yeah, I mean, great night, great fun, and actually, I would go to that again. I think I don't know if I've done them before, but I thought that was excellent. Like it was just a good way of like just reminding ourselves about our past, reminding ourselves about some important key moments in my time as a fan. I'm a fan from Erson Park, so talking about Erson Park, talking about the chicken run and all those kind of things, and that was the old X, wasn't it, the chicken run? But yeah, and just obviously McClaren was there, and I think the things that I took from it was around Carrick, obviously, because that's what we all care about at the minute. We care about what's happening there, what the future looks like, what do we do? And McClaren made the point, which I hadn't thought about. Obviously, I guess you would argue he's our most successful manager. He took us into Europe, we won the cup. You can't really look beyond him that far, really. But he talked about his first 3 years and how much he struggled, and how much Gibson kept the faith in him. And he said, don't misplace that faith. He said, I got shoo-ins. Behind the scenes, Gibson is a tough character. He will be on you. He will not be giving Michael an easy ride, but he kept the faith with me because, and he said the first 3 years, I was not great. It took me 3 years to really, and I thought that was interesting because we forget that, don't we? We forget that time, and I think because modern football is you get like a year or two and then you're out. It's like we don't. You can sometimes go too fast, go too early, and all of a sudden you see somebody else benefit from your decision to get rid of a manager. And he spoke about how obviously he was at Man United, not when Carrick left to come here. This is McClaren, of course, and he spoke about how they believe in him he's going to be a great coach. They really believe in him for the future. they think he's going to be, yeah, obviously he's a good bloke, he's a good guy, he's well thought of. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting that we probably don't reflect on that sometimes, that it he is learning, and I know people say, "Oh, he's not learning. He's continuing to make the same decisions and all the rest of it." And people don't like the tippy tappy football and all that discussion, and that's completely fair. But I do think he is learning, and I do think it would be a shame for another club to benefit from the mistakes we've seen happen. And I don't think he's had it easy. You know, if you think about the players he's lost along the way. So I just thought that was an interesting point that he made, that, you know, yeah, if Gibson had not kept faith with me, maybe we wouldn't have that trophy, maybe we wouldn't have got into Europe. Interesting point.
Yeah. Can you imagine how it would have been if social media was around under McClaren? It would have been it would have been absolutely torture, wouldn't it? I mean, we all remember the fan running from the north stand to the dugout, throwing the season ticket in his face. I think it was getting beat at Villa 4-0. We're getting beat by Villa at home 4-0.
Yeah.
You know, social media as it is now, if it was around in the early 2000s, he would have been dead meat.
Yeah. And I think that was kind of what it was the big thing that I took away from it. And the big thing was that obviously Gibson doesn't like. Yes, he has changed over the years, but I think he's not going to be giving him an easy ride. He will have high expectations. Something's definitely gone on behind the scenes, by the way, in recent weeks for sure with the club, because something's changed in the way we're doing things. So there's definitely been discussions about how we can connect more with the fans and how we can show that we care a little bit more and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought that was a big thing I took out. But of course, there was a lot of jokes. It was John Hendrie, it was Craig Ignat, it was fun. There was banter. There was stories about lost boots and all sorts of malarkey going on. But that was the key thing I took out for what might be interesting for fans to listen to, was about that. Just to remember that maybe, you know, we have a good guy, and that's what he kept saying, you've got a good guy. Because the question was, would you fancy a number 2 position? And now, of course, that leads on to another discussion about whether we need a number 2 and all. Well, anyway, let's not go down that street. We could talk for hours about that. And he said, you know, he just said, I'm a big fan. I rate him. I think stick with him. I would. So that was my top tip from that night. Really should have told me.
Yeah. I mean, you're dead right in the fact that there has been work by the club to reconnect the fans and the team. I mean, some of the lads on here tonight were present in a meeting with with Michael Carrick pre the Sunderland game, and you know, he was given some pretty brutal answers to questions that he posed, you know, with regards to atmospheres at the game. So yes, I think there is a definitely a concerted effort now to try and improve things.
I think
just a quick point about Saturday. Sorry, Jamie, you go.
No, go on.
I was going to say, I thought that the pre-match stuff, the pre-game stuff that was done, the pre-game atmosphere was excellent on Saturday. I was in the fan zone on Saturday. I don't always go to the fan zone, mainly because it's freezing. But I went to the fan zone because it was a nice day. It was sunny. It was actually quite good. We had Infant Hercules out there singing. The actual atmosphere in the fan zone was spot on. Everybody was feeling up. There was obviously a lot of work gone on prior to the game. You know, we had the announcer, the guy Joe Scott doing the announcing of the team. Fantastic. Really, there was a buzz that was really positive, and I thought that was really interesting. And obviously after the game as well, the whole, you know, taking the players around the pitch, really important to do that. It needs to be one. We can't have this situation where you've got 1 or 2 key players like Conway, like Neto, like Della doing the work. We need to all stick together. And I know some of the players they're not the most confident, I think, with the fans when the fans are giving them pelters, but I thought that was really, really key that Michael did that on Saturday.
Yeah, I think I was at the meeting that John alluded to, and I think it was a really interesting chat. It was, you know, the club were desperate to bridge that gap, and they took the feedback on. There was a few faction lads there, a few of us, and you know, that was one thing that was asked of. Like, look, you know, we spend a fortune travelling up and down the country. there's not just lads in the south stand. There's the family zone. There's the north stand. There's the west stand. You know, it'd be nice to be. You know, but you want to bridge that gap. You've got to appreciate the fans. And you could see even after the Sunderland game. All right, it was a difficult defeat, but you could see that they'd started to do that a little bit more.
Yeah.
The club are really trying, and I think that the run that they've been on has been really unfortunate because,
yeah,
we know prices aren't going to go down, but we've got a price freeze. We've got the great deal on the kids. I think the promo they got was spot on. I think even before the promo, they took the lead back on from last year where they kind of gave you notice, look, we're not going to tell you the price yet, but your early bird's going to finish.
Yeah.
This date so gives you, right, start putting it up. But, you know, if you're in that position, put it away or start budgeting. I think even you mentioned there about the pre-game, you know, Infant Hercules were brilliant. It was a good way to start the afternoon. I think the club are really listening, and I think it's refreshing to see that because they are trying. And you know, we've got to, you know, I said earlier on, the results have gone our way. We're back in the mix a little bit. You know, if we can grit our teeth and get a couple more results in a fortnight's time, you could be back in the playoffs. And I think the club need us there.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're absolutely right. They say we've got 3 games now until the next international break, and we've really just got to dig our claws in and really just go for it. But no, it's the club really are listening out there. I mean, obviously the event came out over the weekend, you know, of Carrick and Conway and Hackney all going to the Beechwood and Easter side. They say them 200 tickets flew out at lunchtime today.
I managed to buy 2.
That was mentioned, you know, at the meeting. The club mentioned that as well. They said, "Look, we're going to take Michael on the road. We're going to go to places in the community." And it was one of those. You think, are you going to do it? Are you not? You know how the results have been going, and it's good. I mean, I personally can't think of a time we've ever done that where they've took
I can't.
you know, the likes of Beechwood and East decide where they're going to go. They're going to go Western. You know, you'd like to think so, and different social clubs around the area. I think it gives, you know, fans a real good chance to get closer. And
Dally, this was put to the club many years ago. I think Mark Ellis was still chief exec at the time, and it was when Niall Quinn was a chairman of Sunderland, and to try and help season ticket sales, they done a club Q&A with Niall Quinn and some players, and they were going around all the smaller towns and districts in and around Sunderland. And I remember at the time I was in a meeting with the club. I said, "Why can't we do that? You know, let's go to sort of like places like East Cleveland, Redcar, where you know that they don't tend to be sort of focused on much. So why can't we do that?" Yes, it's now many years later, but it's starting to happen. It can only be a good thing. We've got to boost season ticket sales, because at the end of the day, it's revenue and it's finances that improve clubs. You know, you want better players, they'll ask for better wages. Your wage bill's more. You've got to have the finance to improve your squad. So the club have got to make every effort possible to boost season ticket sales. And this run that we've been on has come at the absolutely wrong time. But hopefully, you know, we can try and get a few more results before the deadline ends, and it'll entice more people to renew, and even people who weren't season ticket holders to come on board. So yeah, it's great to see the club doing this. It's years late for me, but I'm pleased they're doing it.
No, absolutely right. You mentioned Sunderland there, obviously Niall Quinn doing it. It's something that, you know, guys after Niall Quinn have done at Sunderland. I remember they went on all the local radio stations and did all the Q&As with all the fans in there, and you know, they were getting all sorts of pelters. You know, especially when they were starting to fly down the leagues towards League One, but they still came out and did it. And it's just made you ask the question: what's took us so long to go? You know what? We need to reach out to the community a little bit more and show our appreciation for the fans that, you know, aren't just, you know, predominantly local around the Riverside kind of thing. It's time to spread the wings and go towards. You see, obviously, going to the beach with East Side on Wednesday night. The fans have a great night as well. I know Craig and Wheats are going as well, so it'll be a cracking night for fans. Like you said, go to Redcar, go to Weston, go around the area to ask the fans, what do you want to see? What's going to entice you to say, I'll give my money up. It's not every fan's going to come in and say, I want you to win 46 games, because that's not what we go to football for. You will go to football to enjoy yourself. And if they can make an atmosphere like they did on Saturday, I think more and more fans will go and they'll be enticed to go, because I think, I actually had a really good day out. It was really good. It was interactive.
The thing is, Steve, it's a business. We all know it's a business. There's no getting away from that. It's a big money business too. But what you can't lose is the element of the community, the fans, how they feel. We are invested in the team because of our season tickets, and it cannot just be run on a business sense. It's got to be run with the fans in mind. So they can do all the financials and do it to the best of the ability to try and improve the squad, to improve the team, to improve the stadium. But also, you've got to think of the fans and what's in their heads and in their hearts, and try and improve it there.
I think one thing I would take away is, look, I have been critical of Carrick. I have been very critical, and but what I would say about him is he gets it, and I think if you look at things, he's obviously, he's big enough to go on the road in the town and go on these events. But even if you look at, he's taken on different ideas and he's tried different things. He didn't have to take time out of his day to come and sit with us, before Sunderland and, try and give us the rallying cry. He didn't have to. But then you look at things like the open training session they've done at the Riverside. These are things that young kids will remember. Remember that day, Dad, that we went there, and that they felt that you feel a bit closer, a bit more part of it. You see a bit more, and they need to think of the next generation of fans that they can entice in. And if a dad can take his son or his daughter, and they get involved, then to a future season ticket holder potentially. And you think of it in the business sense, but from a community sense, it brings that togetherness naturally if they're out in the community.
It's a business, but its biggest asset is us lot.
Yeah.
Us, because it wouldn't exist without the fans. So yeah, they've got to make correct business decisions, but they've got to look after us.
Yeah.
That was something I was about to mention, obviously, just to conclude this little bit before we preview Swansea. Dally's absolutely right. I mean, Michael does get it. I mean, if you look at Michael's background, he's from a working class background. He's from a community-based background. He's from, obviously, where I am at the moment in Wallsend. He's from here. He fully gets it. You've got to, yes, you're right. What you were saying, John, it is business-based, and, we're the ones that get the money into the club. We pay our season ticket. To get the fans in, you look just a step beyond that. Who got that fan to go, I want to go and watch Middlesbrough Football Club? It's passed down to us generation to generation, and it's because it's community, and we're all a community around us. It's all passed down. We're all told, go and support your local team, son. You know what I mean? That's what we're told, and it's as bad as it is. And you think, well, why would I want to go support them? You take him when you first go. You take him and go and watch him for your first game. Everybody remembers the first game, and you think, can I go back, Dad? Can I go back, Mum? That's how it is, and that's how they get the clubs in. And atmospheres like Saturday, with the infant Hercules sitting at the Ayresome Gate, with the inclusion of Joe. I mean, I know Joe Scott. He's really good at his job. He does bits and bobs, and he was fantastic on Saturday. Getting fans involved like that, the penalty shootout at half time. It was brilliant. The inclusion of that as well, I thought was absolutely superb from the club. Everything on Saturday was done really well, and that's the kind of thing that'll make them young lads and lasses on the pitch think, I want to go back there. And that's how it starts. It's getting them to get the foot in the door and keeping the foot in the door, and then all of a sudden they thrive and they'll be there for years and years to come. That's where it starts, and that's how it's got to be. Mm-hmm. So
and the under 11 prices in the season ticket announcement. that's a step in the right direction. I'd like to see more. If I'm honest, I'd like to see more categories. But when we meet up with the club, we'll push this as much as we can. We've made inroads with under 21 tickets being available right throughout the stadium. It was only previously available in a couple of stands. We've pushed and pushed for kids categories. Yeah, we've got one for under 11. I think there should be more, and we'll tell the club that. They've got to do things on a business sense, which I understand, but we are doing things from a fan's perspective and practicality. So we just have to try and keep on and influence.
Absolutely, and that was my whole point. Is days like Saturday are going to give them young fans the initiative to come back and enjoy match days a bit more. It's not just turn up, watches get thumped and go home. A bit like what I was used to when I was younger, coming and watches playing team and getting absolutely thumped, and then that was that. But no, it's the whole. What Yvonne Ferguson and the team and everyone in the background of Borough are doing absolutely fantastic, and by the looks of it, there's more and more stuff coming. So keep your eyes peeled, keep yourself in there, because it will get better, I promise. With that being said, we'll move on. Swansea away Saturday, one of the longest trips of the year. One I'm quite looking forward to, actually, even though it's going to be a R5 set off. But Sarah, I know you're making the trip because you mentioned it as well. Are you looking forward to making the trip? I know it's a very long trip.
I have to say, so I've done Plymouth. Plymouth, I guess, is the longest one. I've done Plymouth this season, so I feel like Swansea's just a short trip. But I think I've started going on the bus. The guys know I go on with Nathan's bus, and we used to always just go by car or train or whatever. And then Plymouth, we went with the club coaches. I'll just say that. But we've had good banter. We've had good banter on Nathan's coaches, and we really, we're really enjoying it. I went to Stoke on my own, and then a Go family and stuff. And I think it's been good banter, been a good laugh, and I've actually enjoyed it. It's been all right, not too shabby at all. Bristol weren't too bad, despite the 4 a.m. getting home, but.
Be about the same from Swansea. So
quite funny though, coming out of a game and where we've got beaten, everyone's a bit dead disappointed. Then we come on and the music's blasting, and within an hour you've not forgotten it, but it's not quite as bad as it was when you left the ground.
You don't get that. You don't get that on the official buses. But some people prefer the quiet journey home. Some people prefer that, but
Plymouth home was awful. I mean, it was a 3-3. It wasn't the worst game. We'd seen some goals and stuff, but not a word was spoken.
But you got back in January, did you?
Honestly, I was so desperate. I was like, that was a long journey home. Nobody spoke. I can't believe it.
The driver stopped for 3 hours at Thirsk on the way home.
God.
I've been on for years, to be honest, the rah-rahs, as we used to call it.
What we always say on our bus is, look, we're going down for 90 minutes of football, but it's a full day out, so just enjoy the day. And if we win, fantastic, we'll celebrate. If we get something a point, we'll celebrate. And if we lose, we'll chat about it for 10 minutes, and then we'll whack the music up, get the drinks out, and it's a journey home. Jacob knows all about it. He's our DJ at the front. It's Jacob, so he shuts the tunes on.
Good lad.
Exactly. He sorts the tunes at the front, and I sort the Jaegers at the back, and then we're all merry by the time we hit the middle of the country. So we're all sound. But no, by the time the police let you out of the compound and you get that little escort out, and then you're on the motorway, you finished your ranting, you finished your everybody's like, right, let's have a drink, let's have a laugh now. That's gone now. So, but no, it's the only thing I think about Swansea, because I've been to Swansea a few times. You get to Cardiff and you think, right, we're nearly there. It's like another hour and a bit from Cardiff, and you think, good God, how long's this road? But no, I'm looking forward to it. If you had to put the team in front of you, Sarah, obviously you mentioned about Bergzal being more impactful from the bench, position-wise, and obviously his work rate. Would you change much for Saturday? I know Howson was back on the bench.
I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change anything unless he has to. And I'm assuming he will have to with the defensive situation. I don't know what the defensive situation is going to look like. I don't know how bad Ayling is, for example. But personally, I wouldn't change anything.
There you go. John, would you be of the same persuasion?
Formation-wise, I'd keep a back four. Yeah, and I'm hoping that one of either Rav, Ayling, and Edmondson are fit
He's
to
out for a
partner
month.
Dale Fry.
Edmondson's out for a month.
Have you got any good news, Sarah?
But hopefully Rav's back.
Well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Any more bad news, and we'll get you a competition winner of a bus back from Plymouth.
Yeah, with the radar. So.
Yeah. But if people have been actually counting the weeks, aren't we a couple of weeks away from Ben Doak being back?
Oh, I know, and
Yeah,
I wondered about
yeah,
this.
Yeah.
I started thinking about that after the win on Saturday when I was driving back up after the game against Derby. I thought, I'm sure Ben Doak's not far away. I'm sure he isn't.
I would still only put him on the
Timescale-
bench though, and ease him back into it. To be fair.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. I wouldn't rush him back in.
And
he's
did
gonna
you
be
notice the
scoring.
games that someone mentioned this on X last night? The games after Swansea are the 3 games that we won 4, 5, and 6. Scored 4, 5, and 6.
If we get beat 4, 5, and 6, I'm dragging you back on this podcast to explain yourself. But no, you're absolutely right. That's where people say they're looking favourable now. These fixtures until probably the beginning of April, where every team apart from Plymouth is fighting for a playoff spot.
No, Leeds, Blackburn,
Yeah. So it's going to be a bit of a tough run, but Jacob, you're obviously the one that adds balance to our argument. Is there anything that's saying to yourself, I can't see us getting anything from this?
I wouldn't say we wouldn't get anything. I think we've got to play a lot better. Yeah, they've sacked obviously Luke Williams. That Alan Sheen's back as the manager again. They always seem to drag him out for the interim job, and obviously they beat Blackburn 3-0 in his first game. They've got Preston away tomorrow, which is a tough game always. But he knows the club. The players like him, so I think it'll be a tough game. We've got to up it if we want 3 points away from home again. I think up it 10-15%. But it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a close game. But yeah, of course, I think, like I said, we've got to play better. And would I take a draw possibly? But again, we're at the point now where we've lost 6 in a row. We need to go and win 4 or 5 in a row to put that right.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think the fixes have. We've got to start looking ahead and say we need to put them together. You're absolutely right. But right before I let you lovely people enjoy your Monday evening, I'll get you predictions out of you. Dally, I'll start with you. 1-1. Who's the scorer?
O'Brien.
Does Lewis O'Brien play for Swansea?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Oh, balls. I never thought about that. Right, okay. 1-1 O'Brien. John Don, come to you.
Yeah, 2-1 Middlesbrough. Marcus Force.
Marcus Force. I think he's brilliant, mate. He should be. I'm glad he's back. I really am. Jacob, come to you.
I'll say 1-1, and Morris to score.
Ooh.
Jason Morris.
I think it might be a bit of a thunderbolt or whatever you want to call it from the edge of the box.
Yeah.
Thunderbolt.
He scored at Cardiff, didn't he? Well, scored at Cardiff.
I'll be tipping people over them safe standing rails, I think, if we score one of them. But no. Sarah, big moment. You've had time to think about it. Come to you.
I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go Whittaker.
Okay.
Right. That's fair enough.
I'm going to go 1-0. I went 1-0 against Derby. I'm going to go 1-0 again, and I think Morgan Whittaker gets first goal for the Borough. There you go. There's your predictions. Hopefully we'll come back with 3 points. It's going to be a long trip, but I'm hoping 3 points will do the job, and it'll put us. I was going to say put us in the playoff spots, but the way Coventry and West Brom are going at the moment, they're flying, aren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, could be a bit of a problem, but. Just like that, we're all done. The hour's passed and gone. Boys, thank you very much for joining us. Feet up, Don. Feet up, Dally. Jacob, get some more revision done. You'll pass that through in no point. No, yeah, get the words out. You'll be fine. And Sarah, thank you so much for your debut.
Thanks for having me, man. I loved it.
No. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hopefully, I'll see you on Saturday. It's not as scary as people think coming on here. We always say we're inclusive, so anytime you want to come back on, feel free to do so.
Well, I'm bringing the diversity up, aren't I? So that's a good start.
I'll give you that. That's true. And plus, you're giving us a bit more sensical talk. You know, we talk nonsense, so you're giving us a bit more of a chance of going out to other people. So, and to the people listening, thank you very much for listening, liking, subscribing, commenting. Keeping our podcast going, I suppose. We'll talk again next week. We've got 2 games to preview next week. We've got QPR and Luton to preview. So, yes, keep the faith. 1 game at a time. Up the borough. BC.